But with that, we're going to go ahead and get started with best-in-class client reporting for ServiceNow managed service providers. Just to set the stage a little bit for who I am and who VividCharts is, I'm Rob Walsh, one of the co-founders here at VividCharts, and I lead our sales motion. So that includes a lot of working with managed service providers who are looking for more streamlined and better reporting experiences for their internal account management teams as well as their customers. So I live and breathe this topic every single day. Really excited to take you through some of the things we're doing and some of the capabilities we have to streamline this process, both in some slides and in a demo. For those that aren't familiar with VividCharts, we are a ServiceNow advanced build partner. So we have an application that you're going to see today that installs directly into your ServiceNow environment. All the data remains safe and sound in your existing ServiceNow environment, and it works across the platform, but we're going to be heavily focused on automated operational reporting in a client-facing perspective today. So the content you're going to see today is really geared towards managed service providers, but any organization out there that is using a ServiceNow module in a client-facing format. This could include CSM, TPSM, ITSM, domain separated, or even a CRM capability like a sales one that's also on the ServiceNow store. Anything that is client-facing as far as data or modules in your ServiceNow environment that you're using to support external customers, the concepts you're going to see today definitely apply, and we see them used across the board at VividCharts. So that's good on the housekeeping up front for VividCharts. What we're going to cover today, we're going to start in some slides, just setting the stage with what we hear customers expecting from their service providers as far as reporting goes. We're going to talk about some of the keys we found to an automated client reporting experience. We're going to share some best practices from our proof of concept motion and the path to production and how streamlined we can make that for service providers. And then we're going to actually go into the product and show you how easy it is to do with VividCharts and talk about how we can take the capabilities you're seeing today, but actually show you with your data so you can see and feel the power of this automation capability. Let's go ahead and dive in. So we're going to start at the foundational level here and start with the customer and customer expectations. So in conversations with managed service providers that we're having on a weekly basis, the common tunes that we hear are customers expect visibility, they expect communication. But when you go to provide, standard periodic reporting packs, you run into real resource challenges, especially as you scale and you look at a large customer base. Providing good, consistent reporting can be quite manual. So the types of reporting we're going to be talking about today are primarily the periodic reports, the proactive communication reports, weekly service reviews, monthly service reviews, quarterly business reviews that are going to be a little bit more detailed and provide more strategy and insights, right? These types of reports can and should contain visuals that are showing ticket types, volume, status, SLA hit percentages, really communicating back to your customers the services that they're consuming with you and the value that you're providing, each and every single customer. Now, this could just include ticket types if that's what your services entails, but we also work with service providers that are delivering projects for their customers and they're managing that out of ServiceNow. So that's another layer of data that you can have living in ServiceNow, but bundled together in a nice, concise, consistent reporting pack that's fully automated for your customers. Now, a lot of the service providers we speak with on a weekly basis, they're trying to provide these types of reporting packs, but in a very manual fashion that could include exporting data, manipulating it in Excel, taking screenshots of different charts and visuals in ServiceNow and getting that in a PowerPoint and getting it all bundled up. And then hopefully account managers or SAMs are actually providing insights and recommendations. So as you're consuming some of the concepts in the slides and in the product today, be thinking about if you have a standard report that's being delivered today, who's putting that together on a weekly, monthly, quarterly basis? Is it the account manager? Is it a team of people that's responsible for this capability? How much time is it taking to put these types of packs together? Are you able to deliver these packs to all of your customers? Or because of the resource, constraints, are you just providing it to top level customers or certain tiers within your customer base? As we look at an automation effort, the goal and the reality with a scalable solution is you can provide weekly, monthly, quarterly reports out to customers in a fully automated fashion, taking that time back for your service account managers and allowing them to put the time into the more strategic work, providing insights and recommendations, interpreting the data. And that helps you steer the conversation with a customer towards potentially more value add services that you could offer, so upsell and cross-sell opportunities, or just having a much better relationship with your customer because you're able to be so proactive with your data. So be thinking about your current process today, and then as we step into the product, we're going to show you how we can take a template that you have, populate it in the VividCharts product, and give you instant scale, applying that to all of your customers in an instant. So the next thing we're going to step into is just talking a little bit about some of the keys we've seen be critical to an automated client reporting experience. So we're going to start on the left-hand side. Number one is scale. So MSPs are growth-minded businesses. However, to find high-scale methods to deliver critical customer experience reporting is really tough. We've talked about the resource constraints. If you're doing this manually, it's tough to grow in a scalable way that helps you maintain a high margin with your customers. So manual methods of reporting, they're an okay stopgap, but they hurt your ability to scale as a service provider business. And it takes a toll on, high value resources internally. If you have account managers putting together manual reports on a weekly and monthly basis, how much time could be repurposed for those high level resources to more strategic work? So scale should absolutely be top of mind. You want a template driven approach. You want the flexibility to maybe have different templates for different customer types. But when you're talking about automation, scale is the key. And it's a true business driver and margin driver for service providers. The second point here is going to be style. And this is actually one of the main reasons we see customers going to a manual reporting method. And typically that's going to take place in a PowerPoint. So it's imperative that your end solution does not sacrifice on style and aesthetics and polish. You need some wow factor. Your customers are expecting it. We work with many service providers in the space today. They're delivering it. So you cannot sacrifice on the style and the aesthetics. These should be polished assets that you're proud to put in front of customers. So scale, style, and the last point here is going to be, how do you repurpose that time that was spent manually to produce these and put it towards more strategic work, and incorporate it into your account strategy. Periodic reports are a really powerful piece to account strategy and growth. They keep you top of mind with each and every client. If you're able to send out weekly and monthly reports, that's proactive communication that keeps you top of mind, and it frees up your account managers to focus on interpreting the data and providing recommendations to improve the health of the customer. So incorporating it into your account strategy is very powerful, and the repurposing of the time through the automation allows you to be more strategic as a resource or as a team of resources. So scale, style, and strategy. That's going to come out in the demo, but keep those top of mind with everything we're talking about today. So we've talked about some of the key concepts. Now let's get into some of the best practices and how we work with service providers to look at this concept, look at this automation capability, prove out the value internally, and provide a fast path to production once you've seen it in your instance with your data. So number one, establish a standard. Now, A template-driven approach doesn't mean one template for all customers. It could, and we have many service providers who do take that approach, but you might have a tiered account setup where a tier one account might need a little bit more information, or certain customers have additional services that require additional data in the standard template. So establishing a standard is key, but having the flexibility to have multiple templates to service your whole customer base, regardless of what services they have, if they're a certain type of account that just requires more data, having that flexibility is key, but establish a standard regardless. The second step here is see it with your data. So today in this webinar, we're going to show you in a VividCharts instance how the capability works. But the really nice thing about being a build partner with ServiceNow is we're on the store. The ServiceNow store allows us to install VividCharts in your sub-production instance absolutely free of charge, and we can set up a template for you in a couple of hours, right? So we can take your current reporting pack, reproduce it in VividCharts using the product you're going to see today, just as a part of our free proof of concept motion. So you can, one, see it with your data, and two, show the value internally. You can see the full concept start to finish and show your account managers and show your executives how much time you can save with this automation capability. So establish a standard. We have a way we can show you with your data. And really the best part about this whole process is because we're doing this as a part of the proof of concept, you're production ready on day one. We're building your actual template with your tables, with your data structures. So on day one, when you move forward, you have instant scale. So really powerful, the motion that we've set up around this proof of concept. We're going to talk through it and show you in our instance today. But as you're on the webinar today, we're going to have some ways for you to get in touch with us afterward if you're interested in exploring with your data. So let's talk a little bit about just some of the experience we've had with service providers working with this capability and the impact we've heard from them on their customer account managers and what they've heard from their clients. So just a couple of quotes up here from a great customer of ours, CDW, from an internal CSM. It helped take the dread out of putting that dreaded slide deck together on a monthly basis for them. So your account managers will be so relieved not having to put this together and still having the ability to provide that insight and that context to the customer. And the customers love it too, right? Looks awesome, drinks on me. So that's a pretty casual way of putting it. But again, the impact on the internal CSMs and what your customers are going to think of these nice polished reporting outputs. So really great feedback just from a people perspective. But when you talk about value, it's all about time saved, right? So going back to what are you doing today to produce reports for your external customers? We've seen customers save to the tune of 5,000 hours per quarter, CSM time returned and reallocated to more strategic work. And each one of the customers up here on the screen has a similar story. So again, as you're reviewing the capabilities in the demo today, please don't hesitate to get in touch with us. We can look at your reporting capabilities, your current workflow, and look at providing the same level of automation for you. So we're getting close here to starting to dive into the demo, but just to set the stage a little bit on the VividCharts product that you're going to see today, we already covered that it lives directly in your ServiceNow instance. This helps you understand the way we think about the product. At the base level, we have your data sources, right? ServiceNow tables, performance analytics, database views. We can hit different ServiceNow APIs if we need to do things that are a little bit more exotic. So all of the data sources, again, are right there in ServiceNow and accessible for us because we live in the platform. When we step into the VividCharts product, we'll show, and you'll see today, our flexible chart library. These are built in-house, so we can add new charts to the library. We can also add capabilities on top of the charts that we have. And some good examples of this would be, charts that go to multiple tables just by nature, charts that have calculation capabilities directly baked into them. process area specific visuals that align to ITSM or SPM for project delivery. And then again, if we need something a little bit more exotic from a data perspective or a visual perspective, we have capabilities that allow us to do that called specialized charts. At the design level, we talked about not sacrificing on the style, the wow factor that customers are expecting. So we can provide that, but the really nice thing is it's a really easy to use interface. I'm a seller, I'm a sales guy. I can wield this thing and put together really, really nice looking reporting packs. It's a drag and drop editor that you're going to see. We can layer in your logos, your branding. You can add text and shapes to provide context around the data. And then from a delivery standpoint, there's a lot of ways to get these out to customers, whether that's directly via the URL, if they want to view in the browser. If you want to have an export hard copy in PowerPoint or PDF, that's one click away. And then we have different report types in the platform. We're going to focus on scaled report generation today for this monthly service review use case. But we also do dashboards and more standard automated slide decks. So it's all in the same editor, so you'll be able to see some of that too. So with that, I'm going to jump out of the slide deck here and flip over into the product. Again, as you're on the live stream, don't hesitate to drop any questions in the comment stream. I'll be getting fed those. So I'm going to make sure I'm logged in here, and then I'll flip over to the VividCharts product. So first thing to just show, we're in a VividCharts ServiceNow instance here. We click into the VividCharts app, and this is the UI we'll see. So this is the homepage of the VividCharts app. Now, I have what we call a collection, which you can just think of as a folder to store different reporting assets built out for our best-in-class client reporting experience. And I've got two report types in here already. And we're going to look at this periodic client reporting use case. And to look at that, we're going to look at two different things. Our base template, so our standard that we're setting, which will go into the editor to view. And then we'll look at our monthly service review hub, which is where we've applied that template at scale for every single customer in our environment. So you build it once and you get instant scale with VividCharts. So let's have a look at the template first. So I'll click the pencil icon, and that'll just take me into the VividCharts editor here. So in the editor, first thing to just kind of look around and see, everything in the editor is really nice, easy to maneuver, drag and drop, whether it's a chart type or an image that we've dropped in here, like the logo or the background of the slide that we're looking at. So whether we're working with an image file, a shape to give it a nice standard look and feel that matches your corporate template, everything is really easy to use. It looks and feels a lot like PowerPoint or a Canva editor experience. So typical to have, a nice title slide here that just, gives a name of the type of report we're putting together. This is a chart that's just going to reference the customer name on the customer account table. So just to get a feel for what the chart menu and options look like, this is a chart. So we're going to have a data menu up here and a style menu. If I click open the data menu and click on the data, you'll just see we're pulling from a table. We've selected which table we want to pull from. And then our chart options are going to let us know what field we're actually going to pull from. So we're pulling from just the customer account name here, and it's going to show up on our editor. And again, when we apply this at scale, that's just going to be the name of whatever customer we're looking at. Now, as we work our way through the template here, you're going to see a combination of charts, images for styling, and free text up here to guide the customer through what they're actually looking at and trying to interpret. So up here in the top, we just have some free text here. So if I open up the style menu up here, you can see we have what devices does IT Hub manage for us. So this is a really great way in these service reviews to just coach your customers through what they're actually looking at and seeing with the data. So you can really start to tell a story around the services that you're providing and layer in the data so they can see the reality of what's happening. So we've got free text up here. You're starting to see a little bit more of the VividCharts chart library. So we've got a score chart here, a nice horizontal bar and a pie chart down below. Now, critical to call out when we're in the editor, we're looking at a lot of CMDB data in this template in particular, but we can layer in any data that is related to the services you're providing. So whether you're on CSM and using case and different case types for incidents, changes, and requests, we can pull from that table. If we're using those tables in an ITSM domain separated instance, we can pull from those tables directly, map it all up once, and then get a nice summary for each individual account. So each of our charts can be pointed at any table in your environment, and it just needs to relate back to an individual customer account. So the key in the editor is just think about the standard that you want to establish from a data perspective. So what charts and data points do we actually want to show? And a styling perspective. So this should be a branded asset that you're proud to put in front of a customer. So we've got the VividCharts branding applied here, but we can take your standard PowerPoint template from marketing and recreate it almost one for one here in the VividCharts editor. So the data and the styling are the critical points to always have top of mind in the editor. And then we're going to get to the delivery, which is where we're going to apply this template at scale. So we'll come back into the editor and add a few charts to this later so we can get a view for what that's like. But for now, we're going to jump back out into our collection here and show you the scale. So I'll click into our monthly service review hub here and just click run. And what we're going to see is a list of all the customers in the VividCharts instance here. And with one click, I can open up that standard monthly reporting pack for just this customer. So I can click through, I'll see the exact charts we were looking at, but you'll see these are nicely filtered to only show me the data for this specific customer. So when we start to talk about delivery to customers, how you want to present this to customers, the generation of this is automatic, right? True scale. But once you have the reports generated, you've got options. You can share this URL directly with a customer if that's a motion you want. You could have a CSM present directly out of VividCharts here in zoomed out format or in full screen here. So you can present directly out of your ServiceNow instance. You can have click-through turned on these charts. So in a meeting, you can drill into the underlying data and dig deeper. But at the end of the day, if you do need to get an export hard copy for an individual customer, we have the ability to download this to PDF or PowerPoint with a click. So really nice. We can get this fully automated. But we also have service providers where in maybe a quarterly business review scenario, they expect their account managers to add context on top of the data. So what you could do, you could have them do that in the editor in VividCharts, or you could just leave real estate here to add bullet points and commentary on what the data is actually showing. So you could do that in VividCharts, or you could just have account managers, one-click export to PowerPoint, and then add all of the context that they need directly in PowerPoint. So one more thing to just call out about this hub, we're looking at all of the customers in our ServiceNow instance here, but we talked about sometimes it's important to have a template-driven approach, but have multiple templates. So definitely a capability within VividCharts if you have different client types that require different data as a part of their monthly reporting packs. You can have, as many templates as you want in here. We've got a bunch in here as a demo instance, but you could have, different templates for different tiers of customers. And you can also filter this page down. So we just have customer is true. We're looking at all the customers in here for us, but you can filter this page down to apply that template only to the relevant customers of that type. And once you've done that, you'll just get a page that has those filter settings applied. And you can also layer additional filters on top of that just to make it easy for account managers to find their accounts or for executives to get an individual review on an account with ease. So you can add filters here. We've got a company filter on. So we could filter down to just Acme Americas if we wanted to and quickly get to their service review. So that covers the end-to-end concept. What we're going to do now is actually jump back into the template and show you a little bit more in the editor, just above and beyond this existing template that we have built out, because we only have 3 slides here. But what if we wanted to, add a few charts here that are slightly different? So we'll just make a copy of this slide. We'll delete some of the charts off of here. We'll delete the commentary up top. And let's just build a chart from scratch here so we can see a little bit of that workflow. To do that, we'll just have a charts menu here on the left-hand side of the screen. We open this up and we've got 2 options. We've got all of our chart types if we want to build something from scratch. I'll just scroll through here. We've got a library of over 60 different visuals. A lot of these are going to be general use data visualizations that you can point at really any data type in ServiceNow. But you're also going to see some visuals that are process area specific. So like a project timeline or a Gantt chart to show, project timeline in a little bit more detail, a demand flow chart or a change flow chart. So there's a lot of different visualizations here that we have at our disposal, but we also provide templates. So if we click over into the chart templates, you'll see there's a lot of out-of-the-box templates that VividCharts just provides. And you also have the ability to save your own chart templates. So as you build out your templates, you can save those as a chart template and reuse them across different use cases and different types of client reports. So chart templates are really handy. But for this, let's just go ahead and build a chart from scratch. And we'll use one that's commonly used in these service reviews, a Sankey chart. So the first thing we're going to do when we build a new chart is select our data source. So we can pull from tables, database views, report sources. We can even do scripted data collections if that's something that's needed for your data. And then our time series charts will allow us to pull from performance analytics as well. For this example, let's just pull from the incident table. So you can search and find any of the tables in your instance. That includes custom tables that you may have added to suit your processes. But again, for this example, we'll just choose the incident table. And once we've finalized our data source, we'll just get the ability to add any conditions that we want to here, only show me active incidents, conditioning down by priority, et cetera. And for a Sankey chart, you can think of a Sankey chart as doing the work of 2 pie charts, but they're mapped together. So to put this together, we'll need to add some group bys. So we'll just add our first group by, and let's say we want to, on the left-hand side, see category. And we want to see what category of incidents are coming in by priority. So we'll have category on the left-hand side and see where that's flowing in from a priority standpoint. Now with the Sankey, you can add as many group bys as you want. For this example, we'll just use 2. And then each of these charts, you're going to have the option whether you want it to be clickable or not. So if you are looking to present live directly out of VividCharts, that's a nice capability to have. You can just drill directly into the data. So once we click save, you'll see our chart is loading the data here. And I can just go ahead and start to position it on the screen. And there's our Sankey chart. And as we just kind of work with the size, you'll see the editor makes things really nice and easy to place where we want it on the slide. And now that we have it built and configured from a data perspective, we can start to look at the styling. So if we open up our style menu, each chart is going to have, the title that we can toggle on, toggle off. We could give it a name. So we'll call this incidents by category and priority. So you can see that has showed up there, but it doesn't really blend well with the dark background that we have. So we can pop that style menu back open and we could change the text color to, a gray from one of our color palettes, or we have the ability to just use our color picker. So I'll just use our color picker and I'll grab a nice white. So now we can see that showing up nicely there. It's looking a little small, so maybe we want to bump that up to, 40, make it bold, and maybe we want to center it. So All of the style options on a given chart are going to be pretty granular, but in these nice, easy to manipulate menus. So you don't have to get into any coding to do styling and make things look really nice, whether that's the title up top, or if we want to look at, like the data labels, make those a little bit bigger to make it a little bit easier to read. And then depending on the chart type, you're going to get different options and style capabilities that are just specific to that visual. So a good example of that would be custom sorting a bar chart, right? If you're looking at a chronological field, you don't want it flowing by volume. You want to hard code that order. That's a nice chart option that you'll find on our bar charts. And then each chart will have its own set of chart colors. So I think we're looking at a VividCharts palette here on the other slides. So we'll work our way down and we'll choose our VividCharts real-time palette here. So in just a few minutes, we've put our chart together. We've got it styled and looking, a lot closer to what we're seeing on the other slides. And so that one's ready to go, but let's put one more together and use another chart that we see as a common and really nice visual for these monthly service reviews. So we'll make a copy of that slide, delete our chart off, and we'll go to build another chart. And let's say we want to look at some trending information and present that to customers. So we have a number of trend charts that are visual. We also have this really nice chart that we call a trend table that's going to show over time in a more tabular format. So I'll click our trend table here. We'll select our data source again. We'll choose incident. Oops, grabbed the wrong one. We'll choose incident. Click save. And then you'll see, because we chose a different chart type here, we're going to have different chart options that we have to populate here. So the first thing we'll want to do is just choose our group by. So let's say we want our rows in the trend table chart to be by category. We have different aggregate types that we could leverage. So we could choose account. If we wanted to see the average number of incidents submitted, we could choose different aggregate types. For this, we'll just choose the raw count. We can choose whether we want this to go by day, by month, by quarter. So that's key based on the type of periodic report you're putting together, aligning it to that cadence. And then you can choose your date field. So whether you want it created on or resolved on or closed on, all the fields in your tables will show up here. We can choose what date range we want to look at. So let's say we want to look at the last 6 months for this, and we'll just sort by value descending. So now we've got our chart configured here, and we can drop it on the screen. And now that we have this on the editor, we can start to add some styling. So if we wanted to change, the header color to something a little bit different, we have that capability. Again, all of these style menus are going to be pretty close to what you see in the other chart types. We have different abilities to, display totals on the rows, add a heat map if we wanted to do that, and then also, add container styles. So if we wanted to give this a nice background so it pops on the slide, we now have it showing nice and bold here with a good backdrop. So with the trend table, we're showing in our rows, our categories, we're trending these over time, and we're showing a total over the last 6 months, though we only have 3 months of data to work with here. So in the webinar today, in the demo portion, wanted to show you the end-to-end concept of automating a monthly, a quarterly, a weekly service review. Wanted to show you a little bit of the editor and some of the chart building capabilities. You saw there's so many different charts we could look at. So again, coming out of today's webinar and kind of briefing, we could look at what types of visuals are valuable for your customers if you have a template that you're working off of today, or if you want to explore more of the chart library with us, we're happy to do that on an individual call. But with that, I'm going to jump back over to the slides here. Go back in and just share some of the steps you could take to learn more about VividCharts or engage with us coming out of today. On our website, we have something we call the Vivid Hub. You can register in there and see real VividCharts examples similar to what you saw in the demo today. So that's totally self-service. You create a login and you can explore on your own, show your colleagues. We do have a way to just book a POC consult directly on our website. So that would be vividcharts.com / book a demo. So you can navigate directly to there. It's easy to find from our homepage. And then we have a number of MSP success stories out on our YouTube channel. So we've done webinars with customers in this space, CDW and GlideFast. So there's a lot of great content on the YouTube page to hear from our customers, the experience that they've had. So some great ways to engage with us. Feel free to reach out to me directly on LinkedIn and get connected. I'm happy to organize with you that way. And with that, we're just going to open it up to Q&A at this point. If there are any questions in the comment stream, we'll just be monitoring those, and I'll just kind of hang on here to see if we have any questions. Okay, we have one. Is VividCharts available in our PDIs for playing around with it for proof of concept and just education? That is a capability. It's been a while since we've done that. So that would be a good one to just connect with me on. I do have a way to entitle PDIs, but it's a little bit different than the normal trial request process. So definitely possible there. So just reach out to me and get connected and we can work through that. All right, and we're just going to hang on here for a few more minutes in case there are any questions coming in the comment stream. But if you were able to join today and you're going to head out, we just want to thank you for taking some time with us today. Happy to engage with you coming out of today in some more detail. Looks like we did have another question here. What kind of ServiceNow license do you need? There are no ServiceNow license requirements to use VividCharts. So we're a reporting platform. So we live directly in your instance. We can report on any data. So whatever modules you're licensed for in ServiceNow, we can get to the data for. So nothing special you need from a ServiceNow license perspective. Okay. And I'm not seeing any more questions coming in. So, and it sounds like people are starting to drop. So again, just want to thank everyone for taking some time with us today. Enjoy the rest of your afternoon. And I'm going to go ahead and shut the webinar down and hope to speak with you all soon. Thanks a lot.